Hello and welcome back. It's another week. Welcome back to the Dare to Try podcast. I'm Bretagne.
I'm Anike. Just wanted to sing for you.
I am Johanna.
Oh, I love it. We sing every week. For our listeners that are new, there's always some little song, some little jingle. We're a singing happy group.
Have you guys heard that real trending TikTok and Instagram reel that's like, today's gonna be a good day. Today's gonna be a good day. And they're like dancing and singing. Sometimes my songs are like that.
I love that. Making up songs on the fly that make no sense at all are the best.
Yeah, I sing at work and I went up to someone and they were in my way. And I was like, "You're in my way." And he just looked at me. He's like, "Did you just sing to me that I'm in your way?" I was like, "Do you want me to yell at you? Like, pick which one you want."
Do you do that with your kids too, Johanna? Do you go, "Stop hitting your sister"?
I should be a little nicer to my kids.
I totally sing to my kids. When Kaylani's in the bath, I'll sing, "I'm washing your hair, so hold still, please. We're gonna get all the knots out, do, do, do." And then she'll start singing too, and it's so cute.
Oh, I love that.
That's funny. Now that I think about it, Olive is the one that sings. Like, she was doing that to Holland in the bath last night. She was washing her face and she's like, "I'm washing your face. I'm washing your face." It's so cute.
Oh, my heart.
That's awesome.
I love that. Well, it sounds like everybody is having a great day. How was your week last week?
It was good. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this dare. I think it'll be a really good discussion about what it means to have your best life. I wrote notes and I'm curious to hear what you guys said too.
Yay! That makes me happy.
Me too. Well, then, Anike, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. And feel free to cut me off if you're like, "Oh, let's talk about that for a minute." So I am a religious person, and more recently I'm trying to focus more on my spiritual side in general and just understanding what truth is and what it feels like. And something that works really well for me is writing down a question. It's kind of like muscle testing. A lot of people muscle test or pray and then listen for the answer. And sometimes the answers come from God or the universe in the form of a thought or a feeling. For me, I'll ask the question and immediately have a thought of what the answer is. And sometimes if I'm maybe not in the right headspace, I question the immediate answer. So writing down really helps me. So I wrote, "What is your best life?" Also, writing down helps me to be more focused because it gives me something to do. I'm using my hands and I'm looking at a paper versus just what is my best life. And then I'm looking around and I'm seeing all the different stimuli and I get really distracted very easily. And so that's why I like to write it down.
Can I stop you? So
Yeah,
I just want to remind the group what the dare was last week. So the dare last week was, are you living your best life? Define it, reflect on it, and then refine it or adjust it. So that's what our job was this last week, was to really think about what living your best life means to you.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, it wasn't a quick answer. Sometimes when someone asks me a question, sometimes those answers come immediately, but I really wanted to take time to self-reflect because immediately I thought, well, of course I am. I'm living my best life. I'm doing all these things and I can list all my accomplishments and all the things that I wanted. We talked about that last episode of I have everything that I ever wanted. But to reflect on it more, I wrote, "What is your best life? A life without regret." Well, how do we not have regret? How do we have zero regret? Gratitude, forgiveness, perception of learning. Life is working for you, not against you. Also doing things so that I didn't wish I hadn't done them. Think through it. Be brave. Love fiercely. Question everything. Give yourself grace. Serve others. Go after your dreams. And then as I was reflecting on it more, I realized it came to me that your best life is not a perfect life. And that no regrets means doing your best for me. And so I often have regret, and the regret is I had a feeling I should have done something and I didn't follow through on that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And often when you listen to other speakers, they talk about, and those who have come before us, talk about that you will regret the things you didn't do.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the ways that I need to adjust for me so that I don't have regret, so that I feel like I'm absolutely doing my best, because what's my best is different than your best. Like Bretagne likes to work out 16 hours a day at the gym. Johanna just broke something.
15. It's only 15 hours now. Come on.
But that's not my best. I literally haven't worked out in like a week and a half, and I don't like that. I want to do more, but it's not several hours a day. It's my goal was 3 hours a week, and I'm not hitting that right now. So the ways that I need to adjust are to make sure I'm on track for my goals, to serve more, think before speaking, because I often am before perceiving the situation or before considering someone else's feelings or just listening, because sometimes we have insights that we're not supposed to share. And so for me is I really want to think before I speak, so that I can serve people better and listen to that inner voice. And some people call it spirit or God, intuition. And then just some other things like how to be more free financially and eliminate stress so that I have more time to do those things. So the things that are stopping me from doing my best are the stressors, like finances, lack of sleep, laziness, any temptation. And so working on those things so that I can free up my time to do what I really want to be doing. And with that said, your best comes in levels. I feel like I could do my best today, but it'll be even better the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. So personally, I don't think we'll ever reach the best life. The best life is doing our best every day.
I love that. So it's an action, it's a journey, it's not a destination or an end goal.
Yeah, because like people say we should try to be working on being perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect, because I think if you think eternally or in the universe, it's always moving, it's always progressing, it's always growing. There is no done. There's no finish. You're just going and going and going and forever. So there is no, like you said, no end goal. Like, okay, I reached my best life and now I'm done and I can relax and retire. No, that's not how it is. But you can ask yourself that question every day. Like, did I do my best today? Am I living my best life today? So that's kind of like how I interpret it and where my brain was taking me.
I absolutely love that. I think you're totally right. Along with the lines of levels, like there are different levels of giving your best. There's also different areas of giving your best. Like giving my best at home, giving my best at work, giving my best in my hobbies. There are different areas and there's different ways I'm giving your best. I love that.
Yeah, there are different levels and different areas. And just to build on what you said, Anike and Johanna, your best today is going to look different than your best yesterday. Mm-hmm. And maybe, since we all know how much I love to work out, if I killed it at the gym yesterday and burned 800 calories before 10 a.m., and then today I work out and I only burn 300 calories, but I gave it my all, does that mean I didn't do my best today? No, I did. It just looks different because you can't live the same moment twice. And comparing them is unfair to your progression.
I absolutely love that. Your best today looks different than your best yesterday. That is so true, because my best yesterday was killing it. I worked super late yesterday and I could give that effort. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm pretty sure I broke something in my body today. So my best is going to be so different tomorrow, but that's okay.
But that's okay. You're still going to give your best. And sometimes we say our best is, at least for me, is accomplishing a ton of things. Like, I know I gave my best because look at the 17 things I accomplished. Well, sometimes your best is not accomplishing anything. Sometimes your best is just chilling out and being present in the moment.
Yeah, and I think perception is king here, because if we are thinking like, oh, I didn't do great, or you're like getting down on yourself and then you're having those regrets, then you're not going to feel like you're living your best life. But if you give yourself grace, which is one of my things, or if you have gratitude, or you forgive yourself, or you forgive others, and you have that perception of that life is working for you and not against you, then you can really feel like you are living your best life. Perception is everything.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, and often we think that because something happens, like, oh, am I being punished? And like, no, the universe is conspiring for you. Like you said, Anike, not against you.
Yeah, exactly. It might feel like that, but that's because of our perception, and we get in our own way. And
Mhm.
so it's just taking that shift. And what really helps is, seeing a life coach or something like that that can help you shift those perceptions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what about you guys?
Well, speaking of a life coach, I want to share with you what I read. So as I was thinking about this, living your best life, I found this guy. He wrote an article called 5 Signs You're Not Living Your Best Life. And his name is Justin Aldridge, a life coach and a success coach. And I love the next question. He said, can you answer that question easily? Are you living your best life? How do you know you're not? And I was just like, yeah, like this whole time I'm thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'm living my best life, but how do I know I'm not already doing it? And so these are the 5 points he said. He said, if you're not living your best life, you're envious of others' success. And I was like, totally. That is sometimes what I do. Like when I look at other people and I'm like, man, if I just dedicated more time, I would be as successful as them. The next thing he said is you feel like something is missing. And it's not things. Like we all want things in life, but you feel like something's missing. You feel like there could be something more. And I was like, yeah, I totally feel like there's supposed to be something more about my life. He said, you don't enjoy work. Now I do enjoy work. I very much enjoy my work, but I have been thinking about, is this what I want to be doing? I love warehouse jobs. I love the physical labor, the fast pace, the validation it gives. And I can support my family, but is it what I want to be doing? And he said, even if you dislike it, you're still spending 33% of your lifetime settling for something you're not meant to be doing. And 80% of Americans don't like their work. I was like, that is a lot. And I thought about it. I thought about my previous jobs, my current job, and everybody complains. Even when they're having fun, even when they're having good time, got promoted, or everyone's, doing good, they're still complaining. I'm like, why are you complaining? You're a good worker and people like you and this is great. It might not be your final destination, but why are you complaining? It's just interesting. The next point is, can you define success for yourself? Most people are living every day hoping to get to the destination they haven't even chosen. I was like, that is me. That is so me. I keep on thinking like, what is my destination? And I just haven't even picked it. But there's different destinations for different things, at least in my head. For my family, one of my destinations, because Anike has a good point about growing. You're always progressing. There's not an end. One of my destinations is I want to own my own home instead of renting a home. And I have certain goals for my kids and for us. But once
we could call them checkpoints.
Yeah, checkpoints. But once you achieve them, your life isn't over. You're not going to die. Right. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know.
And are you able to live your best life if you don't own your home?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And then the last point is you feel like a failure. And he's like, we're not meant to feel like failures. It's okay to fail. You want to fail because failure is good and you learn from it, but we're meant to thrive. And I absolutely love that. I'm like, we are meant to thrive. You can't see the good without the bad, but we are meant to thrive. And I'm pretty sure I checked off 4 out of 5 of these points. And I'm like, I am not living my best life right now. And so I am still on my journey. I have not defined it right now. I have not picked it out. I'm still figuring it out, but I'm glad I at least did the breakthrough. I did the check marks. I recognize it, and I'm seeing, and my mind is open to what I need to change.
That's awesome. So now you're in the reflection phase.
I am still in the reflection phase.
Yeah. And then you'll refine it, and then you'll do it, and you'll feel better. And then I bet you'll be able to answer no to all of those questions.
I love that you shared that, Johanna. I think often we don't know how to proceed or how to define something, or that question, like, am I living my best life? And it helps to take the inverse, like, am I not living my best life? And so that article is a perfect example of a really great starting point to start asking yourself those questions. One of the things that career coaches teach, that if you don't know what you want to do, first write down what you don't want to do. Start there.
Yeah, it's so much easier to point out the negative for some reason. Like, we can point out the negative in people like that, but then pointing out the positive or what we're grateful for seems harder. It's the same thing. Well, I know I don't want that. I know I'm not happy. So if you can at least identify that, because that's the easy part, then you can go, okay, well, then what do I want? So I love that. You're absolutely right.
Well, I guess I'm next. Mm-hmm. So this has been on my mind, obviously all week. And I also jotted down what I was feeling. So when I came to defining my best life, so when I asked this question, I went back and forth, because I thought, well, of course I'm living my best life. I'm happy. I have a great partner. I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I'm in the nicest home I've ever been. I feel like I live in a city where I belong. I feel like I am thriving, though I'm not, doing maybe everything that I want to do, and I haven't accomplished all that I want to accomplish. And then I thought, am I settling? Am I settling by telling myself I am living my best life? And so I thought, well, what does that look like to me? I was like, well, financial freedom. I would like to, have a family. I would love to be a business owner, and I want to continue to feed this entrepreneurial spirit and build an empire. I want to leave a legacy. I want to have the network and the means to help my family and others. And so I was teeter-tottering back to do I go to these specific ideas, or do I have more of a general revelation of what I think living my best life is? So the first thing I put was, living my best life is enjoying the process and making progress and doing what I want to do. And so then I reflected on that. I'm like, I enjoy the progress. I love going to the gym and seeing ooh, look, I'm getting bigger muscles, or I could go faster, or, seeing what I can do with my finances, or, working on the side business with Jason. And even though it was hard to build a web page and come up with a mission statement, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And in those moments, I was most definitely living my best life and doing what I wanted to do. But I reflected on it a little bit more. And what I wrote during my reflection phase is, I am living my best life as long as I am exercising. Exercising intentional effort towards goals, deliberate action, manifesting my vision. Living my best life is knocking on every door and opening my door to those who knock.
I love that. You always have the most poetic ways of putting things, Bretagne. That was awesome.
Thank you. Well, I'm a writer. That's what I do.
I love that you said that, because it reminded me of something my coworker said over the week. For some reason, all of my coworkers keep on pointing out that they don't believe how old I am. And I'm only 28. I'm younger than both of you.
Thank you.
But they don't believe me. They feel like I'm a lot younger. And at first I took it as a compliment. I thought they were talking about my appearance, but then this week, one of the guys pointed out is my maturity level. And I was just like, rude. And he said I just seemed young. And today he kept on bringing it up. And he said, it's not necessarily that you're immature. It's that you seem carefree. And I was like, oh, I'll take that as a compliment. When I'm at work, I'm carefree because that is my getaway. My work is my getaway because primarily my family is my life and responsibility, but it can be stressful. And so when I go to work, I can get away and I can be carefree. I'm curious what he would say if he saw me at home, saw me yelling at my kids and being frustrated and dealing with life stresses, But from those few days, it got me thinking, I'm like, is it because I'm self-centered? I am a naturally selfish, self-centered person, and I'm every day working on it. But it changed my perspective because I am trying to be more selfless and giving more. And by just changing that perspective, it's given me more energy for my kids. It's given me more energy to serve. And I really appreciated this dare and my perspective changing as I listened to others. It was beautiful. It really was.
I love that. And I love how you said that it gives you energy, right? It's that you have to think about what fuels your purpose and fuels your life. And it sounds like kind of an interesting roller coaster with your conversation with your coworker, but how that conversation, it didn't have to diminish your worth or your value. It simply kept you in this reflection stage. And being in reflection is really important, right? Because you can't have action and reflection in the same place. They can't coexist. So you have to first take action, then you reflect, and then you can take action again. And so for my final, note for this dare, I wrote my refinement was living my best life comes down to the awareness that I have a choice to live my best life. No external forces have power over this choice. And if I choose to live my best life internally, my best life will unfold externally.
I love that.
Yeah, we have a whole universe inside us, and we are in control of our life. We get to choose what kind of life we have. And if things happen to us that we can't control, we still get to choose how we're going to act about those things, or how we're going to think about those things and feel about those things. And so I love that you said internally will then reflect the external, or however you said that, but it starts with the internal. And I think that's so true. So yeah, this was an awesome dare.
Thank you. I agree with both of you, and I appreciate both of you being in my lives. Even before we started this podcast, you guys changed my perspective. Bretagne, you had some rough bumps in your life, maybe some mountains, but you changed, and your example has given me this perspective of what you put in is what you get out. And then Anike, you've been through some rough situations too, and I still see you changing your perspective in the moment and drawing your circles and getting in and bathing yourself in the good energy. And I'm constantly thinking of both of those, and it fuels me. It really does. And every day I give credit to you guys, because maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm carefree when I go to work, because I'm trying to stay positive. So thank you.
Oh, I love us.
I love us.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's talk about, part of our living our best life is, a new component of living our best life are these new dares and this podcast, because it brings in a whole new flavor. So we, this week's dare, first I want to start with the truth, is tell me a time you received a letter that warmed your heart.
Anytime Jason writes me a note, I melt. And getting, random letters from, I have this coworker, Samantha, she's our brand manager. And anytime she has to send me a package for work, she slips a note in there. And she always says something inspiring and warm. And it's always a surprise. And I don't expect her to give me compliments, but she lifts me up, and in just, a few sentences, it can really set the tone for my day.
How about you, Hannah?
I would definitely say Caden, my husband. Like, when he writes me notes, like, it hits home for me. But then also I get like these little text messages from my lacrosse girls or from the coach I coach with, and they send me like little appreciation texts, and like that goes a long way.
That's awesome. I feel the same way. Dan will write me little notes on our whiteboard, and I'm a words person, so it's easy. And I know there are certain times that it also sticks out to me, like a friend wrote me a thank you card, and she was thanking me for something I already did for her, but then she served me in that thank you card. And it's something so simple, but I'll never forget it for some reason because I'm a words person. But she said, "It's an honor to call you friend." And it was just so sweet, just that little phrase. And I was like, huh, that's awesome. Like, it's an honor for someone to be my friend. Like, it's just, or for me to be their friend or whatever it was. It was so cool. So I want to pay it forward. And I want you to really think intuitively. I want you to use your intuition because we know you have it. And I want you to imagine someone in your mind that you don't know and write them a letter. And maybe it's lessons you wish you had learned earlier, or maybe it's just affirmations, or maybe it's you are loved, you are enough, no, you are doing your best and you got this, don't quit type of letter. But use your intuition, imagine someone, and maybe you don't have to come up with like the image in your head, but maybe just feel their presence, tap into that, write them a letter, put it in an envelope, and then I want you to give it to some random person in the grocery store, at the mall, like get out of your car at a stoplight and give it to the next person by you. Be safe though. Or go drive around a neighborhood and knock on someone's door that you feel impressed would need that letter. And you can decide what you do from there. You can, if they open the door, you can wait for them to read it, or you can just walk away. You can decide if you want to put your name on it or not, so they can write back and maybe they'll become a pen pal. That's up to you, but it's also not about you. It's about serving those people with words of kindness that will warm their heart, and hopefully you will serve someone in the moment that they need it.
I love this. It warms my heart just thinking about the people that we could help and to touch. You don't know just how much you can affect someone by saying hi to them, by waving to them, by smiling, by not snapping, just there are these tiny acts of kindness. But to have a physical reminder, a letter, a note to someone that you feel impressed to give it to, I just feel us making the world a better place, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to do more than one. I mean, if you have time, write as many as you feel impressed to do, but I want you to be intentional and use your intuition for each one, if you do more than one. But yeah, it'll be great. So do you accept this dare?
Heck yeah,
I accept.
I'm excited, guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for our listeners for joining us and going on this journey, learning how to live your best life and hopefully touching those around you. Stay tuned next week to another episode of the Dare to Try podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.